So hi, this is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind group page, and today we're talking about 10 red flags when it comes to deal with a bad location. So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 red flags. We're dealing with the location, and we're going to talk about the top 3 today, and then if you join our ATM Mastermind group page, we'll be discussing the other 7 going forward. All right, so we went into a location, a convenience store, and we noticed right away that there was an old WRG ATM machine in there. We got all excited. We thought, all right, this is going to be a good opportunity. So we started a dialogue with the store owner, asking them, were they happy with the machine? Did they own the machine? And the store owner said, no, they don't own the ATM, and they weren't happy with the ATM because the ATM was having challenges. The owner said that from time to time, he noticed that the customers would try to use the card and it didn't work, and he has been able to identify that it was what he called a chip card, and it didn't take the chip card. And so a customer would try to use it, oftentimes it wouldn't work at all, and then they would leave frustrated. He's called the old ATM company numerous amount of times, asking if they could come and see if there's anything that can be done, and they haven't responded to any of his calls for help. So we thought, all right, this is a perfect opportunity to cultivate a relationship and then put our ATM in there. So we went back and we had a conversation to say that this is who we are as a company, this is what we can do. And he was excited at the fact that we could place an ATM in there, and we didn't even talk of a commission structure, we just place a new ATM in there and be able to help his customers use their chip card and resulting in more business for his store. So then we said, well, we got to come back. We have some paperwork to sign. He said, no problem, come back. And when we went back to get the paperwork signed, that same day, they were installing a new ATM. So my conclusion from that was that I don't really think the owner was really going to put it into the location. I think what the ATM owner was, or what this convenience store owner was doing, is using us as a hammer or a wedge to motivate his other ATM operator to say, look, if you don't change this machine, I got somebody who will, and then you're going to be out. So that's why the other ATM operator decided to act quickly. Now that machine is probably 10 years old, and it's been in that location for a long time, and now all of a sudden the day we go to sign the paperwork, it happened. I don't think it was a coincidence, but that's what happened. But hey, the location gets a new ATM, the customers were happy, everybody was happy. But the good thing was, in the course of that whole action, is the owner's son came in, and we started talking with the owner's son, and he was asking us, well, what do we do, and how do you do it? He said, oh, we're in the ATM business. He says, I got a convenience store about 5 to 10 blocks from here, and I don't have an ATM. I would be interested in talking to you about an ATM. I thought, great, this is gonna lead to something good. So we went over, set up an appointment, went over and had a conversation with the owner's son. And then we looked at the store. It was a decent sized store. We talked about where we're going to put the ATM, and the owner said, oh, you can put it here. We said, okay, well, we'll come back. We got some paperwork. He said, no problem. And now we went back with the paperwork. And so we go back to the store, and it was fairly busy. So we didn't get a chance to explain our paperwork. So we said, you know what we'll come back when it's less busy. He said, that'd be great. We scheduled a time in the middle afternoon. He's a one-man show, worked the majority of the hours by himself at this convenience store. So we scheduled a time in the afternoon when it was less busy in the convenience store. So we go back and we sit down with him to go explain the paperwork. And he says, you know what, I got other things to do right now, so just leave me with the paperwork, I'll fill it all out, and you come back at the end of the week, pick it up, and then we can talk about installation ATM. Great, no problem. We went back. He said, hey, you know what, I've been busy, I haven't had a chance to fill that paperwork out. Come back again. We went back again, and at that time he said, hey, you know what, I just gave the paperwork to my accountant. And I thought, oh, red flag number 1. You know, he's giving the paperwork to somebody else. And so what I did, I said, all right, no problem, we'll come back. And then when I came back, he said that he didn't, his accountant didn't want us to place an ATM in there. And so when I asked, so what was the issue? He said, well, he was willing to sign a piece of paper that said that the ATM was in his store, but he didn't want any kind of language in there that there was a penalty if he kicked us out. So that added to my red flag and says, okay, so what you wanted is you want an agreement that doesn't have any teeth in it. There's no penalty for kicking us out. He said, yeah, if I don't want to do business with you, I want to be able to just walk away. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, here it is. This is where it starts to go south. And then I said, well, okay, well maybe we can research that and maybe we can think about it. Is there anything else? He says, oh, well, I want to know what I'm going to make and what are you going to charge? So I said, well, we're going to charge $3 surcharge. And he says, okay, I want 50% of that. And I'm like, whoa, red flag number 2. You want, right out of the box, you want half of the commission. And I thought, well, this is a challenging part because A, you don't want to sign anything that has any kind of teeth in it, that if we decide, or you decide you're going to kick us out, you had no repercussion. And B, you want to take 50% of the transaction right off the bat. So if I don't agree to this in any given time, you're just going to kick me out. So on some of the deals, length of contract, what we try to do is have a happy medium between commission structure and length of the contract. So when we initially talk about a location, what we're going to do is we're going to give it the most favorable for us. We're going to give as high a length of contract as we can with minimum amount a surcharge. And then what happens is as they want a little bit more, we can increase the length of the contract. So maybe we start with a 5-year deal and 50 cents a surcharge. And then if they want to make $1, we'll say, okay, well, we're going to jump it to 8 years, and then we'll jump your commission to $1. Okay, so what we try to do is if they want something, we ask for something back, and then they can make a decision which way they want. We don't mind giving a little bit more surcharge if we're going to get a little more length of contract. But when this particular location, he didn't want to sign any length of contract, and he wanted the maximum amount of surcharge even in the beginning. And if I didn't like it, maybe down the road, it's if I take this deal and give $1.50, and then I decide to raise my surcharge to say to $3.50, he gets 50%. So he's going to get a raise in for himself too. So we try not to also sign an agreement that has 50%. We'll give a fixed dollar amount if it's $1, $1.50, whatever that fixed dollar amount is. But we'll just give it a fixed dollar amount. Basically, if we given us an option if we want to raise the surcharge. And so there has to be that give and take in any business relationship. So I didn't like that situation at all. So not only don't have any teeth in the contract, but you call all the shots in the commission structure. So that brings me to point number 3 is that store owner just took 100% control of the deal. And when they take 100% control of the deal, I'm out right away. And so that makes the whole situation a bad deal. Okay. Now, on certain situations, I might take what I would consider a bad deal that maybe had some of those 2 points or 3 points, but if it leads to something else, like if the store owner had multiple locations, this store owner had his father's locations, which just signed a new agreement. He actually even had a brother who had an ATM in their store. So I said, you know what? I stepped away at that time and I said, you know what? Let me think about it. And he told me where his brother's store is. I went over to his brother's store, did some research, found out his brother just had a brand new ATM in his store. He's just signed an agreement. So there was no getting his store. So I'm thinking, well, let me see. I got no agreement. I got no controlling of the surcharge, and it doesn't lead to anything. This is 100% bad deal. And when you look at an ATM location, and this is just 3 of the 10 points that we're going to make here today, is that you want to be able to control the deal because you have all the risk. You're putting in the ATM, there's risk in that. You're putting in all the money, there's risk in that, and you have to service it and stock it. and keep it up to compliance with all the regulations and changes in technology. And for that, you need to assure yourself that you're going to be there for a long time. So try to minimize your risk. In this particular situation, the owner took all of the risk, put it on you, and he was left with the best part of the situation. So we were out on all 3 points of that, and those were huge red flags for us. Just to recap, the major 3 components are the contract. If the location wants to control the contract, basically eliminating the contract or saying no contract, that's a huge red flag. The second thing is if they want to control the commission structure. They want to dictate to you what they do and how they do it. That's a big red flag. And the third thing is they want to be empowering on the whole deal and they want to control this deal. And that's the third red flag, is they want to control every aspect, the commission and the length of time of the agreement. That's a huge red flag for us. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you're always more than welcome to join our ATM Mastermind group page. Thank you very much.